Welcome, immortals, to episode 6. Yeah, episode 6 of Interview with the Vampire. Like the light by which God made the world before he made light. Wow, it's a long title. But yeah, like once again, another banger episode. But let's break it down real quick. So we start the episode back at the Japanese restaurant. Though this time, Daniel has Rashid as the chaperone. Daniel is ranting at Rashid about how they got the tapes to his house that we saw back in episode 1. The box had no postage, so Daniel is really weirded out about how it got through the mail. I'm guessing they were saying that Louis and Armand paid the mail guy off or something. Or maybe there's some bigger conspiracy about it. We cut to Louis and Armand trying to figure out what to do with the blank space after selling that art piece from a couple episodes ago. Louis is being understandably a bitter ass to Armand, giving him the cold shoulder, saying that they should hang up some of those photos that Armand stuck into his portfolio. So yeah, these two are not in a good space right now, and I love Louis. I love just how Louis just being so bitter and nasty to him. It's so perfect. Raglan James pops back up the restaurant, saying Daniel contacted him. So we learn a couple of unique things. One, Rashid is a Talamasca agent. Didn't see that one coming. The Talamasca wants the book to happen. James says that the government and fellow vampires will try to bury the book before it hits shelves, but they can help it get published. And 3, James wants Daniel to sneak in a few questions. So now even the Talamasca is trying to control the point of view of the interview. I guess they want people of the world to know certain things about vampires that Louis and Armand have not disclosed yet. What those questions are, we have not been told. But to be curious, what happened to the "we watch and we're always there"? I mean, the books, the Talamasca were like second detectives. They were scholars. They weren't really like this. Though this does line up with the Talamasca that we saw in the Mayfair Witches show, which I just hope that interview handles the concept a lot better than Mayfair Witches did, because in Mayfair it was fucking stupid and I hated almost every bit of it. James makes a stupid joke saying if he had Daniel's body, he'd be running the order. Not exactly sure what he means by that. Maybe he could use Daniel's celebrity to move up in rank. But in reality, this is just a big nod to James in the book. He is the body thief. Maybe he's already mastered this ability in the show, or he's still learning it. We watched as we cut back to 1940. And we watched as the vampires are practicing a new play, where Santiago is making his moves. He's spreading Claudia's diaries around, so the Coven knows what she and Louis did to Lestat. He's got the play only starring men, so Celeste and Estelle can visit Lestat's lawyer and try to find out when's the last time they had contact with him. We also see that while Santiago is saying his lines on stage, he's also talking to Celeste and Estelle through their minds, and he's even controlling the lawyer with the mind gift. I thought Santiago was just gifted in mimicry in the cloud gift, but apparently he's also really strong with the mind gift as well. So yeah, Santiago is the second strongest member of the Coven. Daniel calls BS on Armand, that Armand couldn't sense anything about the takeover of the Coven that Santiago was planning. Armand states that he was blinded by love, but Louis laughs and says that he was just lazy. And Armand is just completely hurt by that statement. He looks like an abused puppy. He's like, "Aww, I almost forget what such a manipulative gremlin can be." Armand senses something, and he asks if Rashid ever left Daniel alone in the restaurant. So does Armand know that Rashid is a Talamasca agent? He does make a comment that Daniel's laptop is now encrypted. I can't remember if Armand had any history of the Talamasca in the book, but he definitely knows about them here, and he doesn't seem to like them one bit. We cut to Madeline, and we finally see the pricks have been vandalizing her windows. She gets fed up with them, and she throws her iron at the window, breaking it. That'll encourage them to storm inside and continue the harassment. While the woman messes with Madeline's things, the two dudes bring her back to the back and attempt to rape her. All while Madeline's neighbor stands outside watching and listening. Because, oh, she's just a Nazi sympathizer. Yeah, this scene was very uncomfortable to watch. All the vampires and stuff, that's all creepy and cool, but it got some real world horror right here, which is ugh. But Claudia comes to save the day. Sadly, we don't get to see what she does to the neighbor, but she drains one of the pricks, throws the door at the other one, nearly decapitating him. And I love how she kills the woman. Claudia Michael Myers her. She pins her to the wall with scissors through the neck. And I love the gasps of breath they're trying to take as they die, as Madeline walks to the shop. Claudia is trying to help her calm down. Madeline, who's nearly having a panic attack, and she can't even say the word of vampire. Love this. I love how Claudia calms her down, telling her, it's okay, you can sit down. I need to clean up. I just need you to cooperate. It's gonna be okay. I love it. It's really sweet. After all the horror and bloodshed and screams and violence, we get this very tender moment between these two. All while a man is gasping for his final breath. Louis barges into the theater, completely unaware, or not caring, how all the vampires hate him. Louis shows Armand this painting he bought, that he's going to sell it later when the value goes up. So we are seeing the beginning of Louis the art dealer, the profession he has in the modern times. Armand makes fun of Louis, especially after Louis says he's going to buy a plane. The first capitalist vampire. Now, that was something Armand did in the books. I remember him having a private jet in the third book, and during the whole Devil Minions thing, he started his whole kind of like empire with Daniel. Also, real quick, what happened to Louis running the theater? That was a tease at the end of episode 4 that Louis was going to help run the theater, that he was going to make it bigger and better. But we don't really get to see that. I thought that was going to be something we're going to get to see, and maybe some of the vampires would have minded Louis then. That they would actually like his leadership or managementship. Yes. Okay. While Claudia and Madeline are hanging out in her apartment, Madeline asks what it's like to drink blood. Claudia says it's food, nothing more. Now that's a bit weird. In the first season, they show that blood was incredibly desirable to vampires. They show that in this season. When Madeline asks Claudia to drink her blood, you can see her get excited. In the books, drinking and killing was incredibly pleasurable and intimate for vampires. It was even better than sex. A pale shadow of killing is what Louis called it. Being with someone as their life ends, taking that life into you, seeing their life flash in your mind. How could that not be so intimate? We even see that when Madeline is made later in the episode, as her memories flash between Louis and Claudia. Also, remember that the show is going with the idea that you have to stop drinking blood before the heart stops. So Claudia, you are kind of drinking in their life. Not just, you are drinking in their life because you can't drink in their death. Louis walks in on them, completely pissed, thinking that Claudia is going to mess up things again. Louis threatens to break Madeline, which is really weird. I still get him being pissed at Claudia, but why Madeline? Where's all this aggression coming from? I think I'm missing something, I'm not sure. Louis asks them, is their relationship romantic? They both answer no, but Madeline says not yet. And Claudia likes it. It's nice to see Claudia happy again, since Charlie. I know I complained that I wasn't crazy about this change in the first place. How they changed Claudia and Madeline's relationship to being more romantic than mother and daughter. I didn't really know I was gonna like this change the relationship, but I this is really I'm really getting into it now. I really like the tender moments between the two actresses. They sell it so well. It's so sweet, the little bubbling romance between the two. I just wish we got more Madeline in the show. I just wish she just popped up a little bit here and there in the other episodes. Claudia gets Louis to ask Armand to make Madeline, and he is pissed that Claudia would ask such a thing when she's been so stubborn at the theater. But he goes to talk to Madeline, asking if she's okay becoming a monster. Can she kill every night? She says people already think she's a monster, so why not be the real thing? Which, with everything we know about her life, I can't blame her. Vampires are often born out of tragedy. I also like when Armand asks her what she will do when time moves on. Her era ends, and she just laughs him off. Claudia, he wants to know about the end of my era. Now, that is something that happens in the books, that vampires often lose touch with the changing world, and sometimes need a companion to guide them through the new world, new technologies, new cities. It can be overwhelming for an immortal. Also, I just love let's stop. And Armand calls Claudia de Lioncourt, basically because she's a little bit a manipulator, and just like her other father, that she's so much like, but she just doesn't help. She just can't admit it. Armand says no, saying he doesn't want to make a vampire. It repulses him, and well, I kind of saw that coming. I mean, it'd be a huge change from the books, and we already kind of saw it in the trailer that Armand wasn't going to do it. Santiago gets himself thrown off stage. Louis tells us of strange crimes, obviously done by Santiago and members of the Coven. Stealing film stock, stealing a telescope, and hanging off the Eiffel Tower. The film stock is probably to make their own projections without Armand knowing. The Eiffel Tower is probably a reference to the Lost Boys. I don't know what the telescope is for. We get a little scene of Louis and Armand walking. Armand gives his reasons for not making Madeline. That vampires always end up hating their maker. Though he's not making Madeline for him, he's making her for Claudia. But yeah, that is something Armand says in the book he doesn't like. Is one of the reasons why he doesn't make vampires. He doesn't want someone to hate him. He doesn't want a lover or a friend growing to resent him. We also learned that Celeste and Estelle and the band members were all made by the same person. Celeste and Estelle, I guess one of them made each other, and the band members were all made by someone else in the band. So that's a little neat info. But what is weird is Louis is alright in making Madeline for Claudia. It was destroying him in the books. Just the thought of bringing in another killer into the world was breaking our little sad boy. The turning of Madeline is completely different from the book. Louis was fighting till the last minute until he let his instincts take over. But show Louis seems amazed, saying that Madeline welcomed his fangs. She's probably is the first human who willingly let him drink from her. Just like the books, Louis can see her thoughts, her life flashing behind his eyes. Well, that's normal for other vampires, not for Louis. Louis doesn't get the mind gift till like later in the books. And Madeline's life is nothing but tragic. It's all things we were told of before. Her family dying of tuberculosis, her sleeping with the German soldier, and the horrible way she was treated afterwards. But we see something new. A sister who died, and I'm guessing died before the parents. In the books, Madeline lost a daughter, so she was attached to Claudia, a child who wouldn't die. Anne Rice based this on when she lost her own child. That as who Claudia was based on. That's inspiration for the character. I don't think they say why Madeline's child died in the books, but making her sister's death from sickness, I don't know, that feels like a big reference to Anne Rice. Maybe not the character is very different from the book. Armand finds Louis sometime later. Louis feels so disgusted and empty, he's been cutting himself, trying to get whatever's left of Madeline's blood out of him. Louis says he can feel Madeline, even though her and Claudia have already fled Paris. This is something new in the show. In the books, makers and fledglings don't have a special connection like that. Armand has come to say that he has left the coven. He was given a choice, and he chose Louis. But when we cut back to the present, the boyfriends are still fighting, until Armand asks if Louis has remembered San Francisco. Armand says Louis can't be mad because Louis asked him to bury those memories. Daniel, like me, calls bullshit right away. Then Armand gets passionate, saying why does he owe Daniel his shame? That the pages he took out of the diary without Louis' knowledge was to protect himself. That even though Louis has forgiven him, he keeps trying to make up for what happened in Paris. Assad, the actor who plays Armand, I loved him in every episode he's been in, but damn, this little performance, it's a monologue, I think it's a monologue, it was just so good. I love, you can see the anger and the heartbreak in his voice and in his eyes, even through the vampire context, which I like. I know that's a complaint some people had, like in the first season, that they hate the contacts the actors have to wear, because it makes them hard to see their emotion. Well, I say good. I mean, they're vampires, they're supposed to be a little bit alien in nature, so it kind of makes sense that you can't really feel certain emotions from them. I know, am I saying that right? I think I'm saying that right. Alright, so we get to the end of the episode. I'm not sure how long it's been, but a couple of months have passed, and Claudia and Madeline have made a special trip back to Paris. They go on a little double date with Louis and Armand, and it's a sweet scene. Claudia apologizes for giving Armand a hard time, but also thanks him for never treating her like a child. And I like when Louis tries to explain why Madeline can't read his mind. He almost says what Lestat said to him in season 1 before he corrects himself. Oh, Louis is still thinking about your first love. But he says he can still sense... she says she can still sense his emotions. Maybe this is something new they added to the show, but like I said before, in the books, Maker and Fledgling's minds are closed off to each other. Maybe Madeline is just a strong vampire that can get through that barrier. That does happen in the book sometimes. Even if the Maker wasn't that strong, some vampires are just born powerful. I also love the design of this cafe. The use of red is just beautiful. Also, red, blood, vampires. Also, the red is there to warn us of danger, just like Claudia's yellow dress. Louis slowly notices that time has stopped. The theater attacks and takes everyone but Armand. Remember, he was given a choice. And also, I just gotta applaud all of the actors who stay still when the time stop happens. Because they showed in behind the scenes that they actually just stay still. Like, it's not mannequins, it's not props, it's not CGI, they just good at standing still. And bravo, that has to be so hard to do. I couldn't do that. Bravo to those people. We cut to a matinee showing at the theater. Probably the only matinee the Theatre des Vampires will ever have. Santiago is performing as the judge, telling the audience that today it will be the vampires that will be exposed on stage. Our 3 vampires are brought out looking all kinds of beat up. As Santiago is reading out the list of their crimes, Sam, the playwright, goes downstairs to tell the main star that to be ready in 10 minutes. And it's Lestat! And he is pissed. And I loved it. This scene was so amazing. Not just like Santiago, as Ben Daniels just performing everything. He's chewing the scenery so lovely. But when the tension builds, when you go down to the bottom of the stairs and you see Lestat, because he just camera slowly pans down to him, and you'll get to see his face in the mirror, and it's so good. I was waiting for Lestat to come back. I mean, I love fake Lestat, schizophrenic Lestat in Louis' mind, but this But this scene would have been so much more powerful if we didn't have fake Lestat. Not saying that was a bad choice, but just imagine we didn't have fake Lestat through the season, and this was our first time seeing Sam Reed back as the character. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, but now the trial in the book, because we're getting ready for the trial. So let's talk about the trial in the book. The trial in the book wasn't a big thing. It's simply the vampires asking Lestat if that happened, if Louis and Claudia did that to him. Lestat doesn't seem to having scars like in the books, but then again, they didn't burn him and bash his head in like they did in the novel. But also in the books, Lestat wasn't this angry as we see in the show. Even before Anna Rice retconned his character in the second book, Lestat was yelling at Armand not to hurt Louis. He didn't want to hurt Louis. Just talk things out. Tried to convince him to come back to him, to New Orleans. I mean, I think he was kind of like a few to Claudia for trying to kill him. But Lestat really was just trying to get his family back together. Or, that's how I interpret it. Yeah, but this Lestat, show Lestat, he looks like he's out for blood. And please show that this is just an act, that Lestat really just wants to put his family back together, that he wants just to talk things out. I don't know, because Lestat, I still think that Lestat wasn't as bad in the first season as Louis made him out to be. I still think there's some manipulations or Louis just remembering things wrong. Because we saw that in episode 5, and he literally thought Claudia was alive for a second. Oh, sorry, spoiler alert. So maybe Louis just remembering things wrong. I don't know. Because, I don't know, Lestat, I don't think he will want to hurt Louis. Even this version of Lestat. So I'm just curious what's going to happen next episode. Just can't wait for next episode. And hopefully in season 3 or 4, you know, the Vampire Lestat, maybe we can get this scene again. But by Lestat's point of view, I don't know, food for thought. Because I don't know, because in the book, we got to the interview, the vampire section of Lestat's biography. He just kind of skims over it, just saying that, yeah, Louis made that up. I was kind of, yeah, but Louis was lying about me. He's just lying. He just wanted my attention. But yeah, another great episode. Love every minute of it. Can't wait for the next episode. I can't remember if the next episode is the last, or we're getting 8 episodes this season. I don't know. I'll figure it out later. But yeah, just amazing. Loved it all. Can't wait for it. And that's all I got to say. Till next time. Till next Sunday. I can't believe the show's almost over. Can't believe the show's almost over. We gotta wait another year just to get more of the Stat and Louis. Alright, I'm stalling. Alright, bye bye. Bye bye.